All right, back trying to keep up on the vlogs. We're here today in St. Louis, Missouri at Jefferson Barracks Park. It's Thursday flight school before the St. Louis Open, and looking forward to a good weekend for the Nonstop crew. Kale will be here tonight. Kale, Nico, and Will playing here. And then I'm heading up to Texas to play in Texas to get some work done on my arm. And my shoulder's really been killing me, so hopefully they can get a good look at it, and maybe I'll play a good tournament up there also. Overall, it's been a tough few weeks since we've seen you last. The spring schedule's pretty tough. I was in Copenhagen, did well there, and then after that we've played the Silky Championships and the Standing Rocks tournament. The Standing Rocks tournament in Wisconsin was spectacular, though. I'll tell you that. The course was unbelievable. Big turnout, huge payout, and we stayed in this mansion, Jeff Ron's mansion, Jeff Noel. 31,000 square feet, imagine that. There was like 15, 20 bedrooms, all with Tempur-Pedics. It was actually unbelievable. Second biggest house in Wisconsin. We just got to put a shout out to that family. We really appreciate it. I got some questions today on the vlog. Let me see what I got. I have Phil Smith. When are the remaining In the Bag segments coming out? That's one of the questions. I think Kale's going to do one this weekend, and when I get back next week, when we're headed up to Louisville for the Charlie Ventnor, I'll do one there at the Charlie Ventnor, and then we should be caught up. Next question comes from Mike Young. He says, how much does Dave Caddy need to be able to squat in order to carry his bag? It's a good question. I carry it on one shoulder. I see a lot of people thinking it's pretty heavy. I play 2 rounds a day on one shoulder. I'm not in very good shape, but you know, thing to think about, 10 discs isn't even 3 or 4 pounds. So if 3 or 4 pounds makes a difference in your day, then maybe you should hit the gym. All right, Josh Ham says, how's the road trip, Dave? Man, it's a tiring year. This spring tour hasn't flown in very good order. We've been traveling all around. This week we're playing a different tournament. Then we're headed to Charlie Ventnor, and then we're headed out to Masters Cup in 2 cars. We're leaving the RV. Then after that, we're playing 4 different tournaments that week, and I believe Will's playing in the National Players Challenge in Arkansas. Kale's playing the team tournament up in Minnesota. Nico's going to play the Rose City Open in Portland. And I'm going to play the Lilac City Open in Spokane, Washington. So we're trying to do a sweep, 4 wins in 1 week, get those stats up for our crew. Looking forward for that. But after that, we're going to be on tour for the rest of the season together. It's just been a really rough spring. Nothing's really flowing for the schedule, and it's been tough. You can probably see it in our faces. We're kind of tired. Phil Smith says, what could the PDJ do better or do differently to grow our sport and get over the mainstream hump? Man, they're really trying. It's the grassroots approach, but we always had a top-down approach in the early 80s when disc golf started, pros, and now we're doing the grassroots approach, so we just got to stick with it, be patient. With social media, I think we're getting somewhere. All we need is good PR, and I think we're reaching the point where maybe the PDJ can look into getting a PR firm to make us look good out there, and once everybody knows what we are, then we can go to sponsors and ask for things. But going to Gatorade now is asking them to give something they don't know anything about. So we have to get our names out there, get us in the newspapers, and then once they've seen it and it's in their Sports Illustrated, you could say, you want to sponsor disc golf. Until then, we'll be on that hump that you're talking about. I got just a couple more questions. Let's see. What's been your favorite part of being on the NSDG tour? Hanging with the boys, actually, getting our games back to the top. If you see, we've been going 1, 2, 3 most places. You know, traveling with the guys, living life again makes you feel young, and it's been a great experience, and we're only in May, so I can't imagine what this year brings. Tyler McDaniel says, Dave, have you any Blizzard discs made their way into your bag? If so, what ones? You know, I tend not to throw light plastic, so no. I'm not going to throw them. I know they're good for distance, maybe in a distance contest, but traveling back and forth to Asia the last 10 years, I'll tell you it takes me a few weeks to get my release back, and I can't imagine that those discs are great for competitive release consistency. So for distance contests, maybe. In my bag, probably not. People want to know, are we going to do a clinic in California? If the clubs are interested, you can see our schedule. I told you we're headed out to the West Coast twice in the next few weeks. Email our website. We'll try to get one scheduled. Will we go to the Majestic? Of course we'll be at the Majestic. It's one of our favorite tournaments. We'll see you there. Favorite course in the whole world? From Kelly Greenhoe. Man, that's a tough one, dude. I don't know the answer to that. I'd have to say somewhere in Scandinavia, maybe Skellefteå, maybe Japan, possibly Big Brother over in Justin Trails, Wisconsin. I'm just not sure. Beaver State Fling, the Milo. I've got a new course going in, 13,000 feet. We'll show you some footage of that in a month. Maybe that's my favorite course now. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I got a lot of guys working in Portland on it. We'll see. Tough question, though. Too many good courses. Let's see here. Questions are piling up. Do you guys know I'm on doing this video right this second or what? What is a good understable disc for a beginner? And also, when are you guys going to make it through Colorado? We'll be coming to Colorado after the Kansas City Wide Open for the Fort Morgan tournament on the way to the Beaver State Fling. Understable disc for a beginner is always going to be something like a Roadrunner, Mamba Roadrunner. When is the Nonstop crew coming to DFW? Veterans Park Open at the end of the year, and I'll be there this weekend, so hopefully I'll see you there, Dylan. Tori Lafloon says, or LaFoon says, what do you like best about playing overseas? It's a real sport over there. It's professionalism. Their payouts may not be as big, but you know, like I always said, they don't have that 70s and 80s or 60s, 70s and 80s hippie craze. So when people talk about frisbees, they don't talk about other things that go along with it, like dogs and six packs and tie-dyes. Over there, it's a sport. You drop your kid off, just like dropping off at the basketball game. When the news covers it, they treat it as a sport, and there's no like kind of behind-the-scenes weird feeling. So the professionalism and that it's a real sport over there makes it great to play. What else we got here? What is the most important part of putting when you're on a bad dry run? Focus, techniques, or discs? Technique. When you're in a bad run, find something in your technique. Say it every time, like lift your left leg, extend, whatever it is, and you'll get back in the groove. Almost done. What is the most important part of putting when... Oh, got it. Stephen Page says, what's the things you look for in a tournament to make it worth traveling to other than a payout? And the answer is always good courses and good people and good times. We're not always looking for a payout. We're looking for an opportunity to grow the sport. If you got schools we could teach at, if you got communities that we can show disc golf to, that's one of the most important things of our tour. So it's more about being able to spend a whole week growing disc golf, and if the tournament's a good tournament, that's a bonus. Last two questions. Best story about Nico so far from the tour? Best story about Nico so far from the tour? I guess we're in St. Louis this weekend. Man, I don't know. He's got a lot of stories right now. I'll probably have to go with this one time we're at this bar in Taos having dinner, and he was trying to pick up on this girl, you know, just, you know, flirting around. He's not trying to date her or anything, but we just like to have fun with the waitresses. And he said something about, you know, he was going to say something to her. So when she came over, I said, hey, what you doing? And she's like, oh, you know, I'm busy. I got kids. I go, they'll babysit him for you, won't you, Nico? You know, and so then when she came back, he said something about, yeah, I'll watch your kids if you go out with Dad. You know, so that's the kind of stuff we do out there. It's pretty funny. Finally, thanks for the questions. And look for our vlog tomorrow or tonight. Hopefully it'll be on there. Last thing I want to say is I'm headed to Texas for that Shawshank tournament. Then I get my arm worked on. We'll see you next week. We'll be back at Louisville, and hopefully NSDG can have 2 weekends with 2 A-tier wins again. Until then, we'll see you. Bye.